okay. This is a great question. What was the Vlam? You're killing it. What was the inspiration behind the ladder defense sections of Oddworld Soulstorm, and how did it come to fruition?
Good question. So, part of it was Lorne was looking for an opportunity to change up combat, right? So it wasn't just on a horizontal plane where you're just platforming and protecting your followers, but he was like, I want to get some verticality, right? I want to change things up. But the big inspiration there, when we did our vertical slice many, many moons ago, his inspiration was like, how can we, from like the movie 300, I'll say that. He never said that, but I'll say it. It's like, how 300 is such a great number. How can we get 300 followers that you can defend or more, right? And what are the limits? So we pushed to, hundreds, right, to test out what could happen. And immediately, we could only get like dozens on the screen, right? It was, character logic and rigging and animation is really expensive, as well as just rendering tech. So but then we had some inspiration where we figured out a way to push all of that off of the CPU. And I'm getting a little technical here, so forgive me on this, but this is just the hat I wear. We were able to push a lot of that off of the CPU onto the GPU, right? And so part of the number carries over from the previous games, right, of how many followers were still alive in those games, and we wanted to be able to rescue and save and continue the story. And by pushing on the GPU just to share, we were able to get dozens at something that was, took up almost 3/4 of the frame. But then with this new tech on the GPU that the team created, we were able to get hundreds for less than 1% of the frame.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
I am very aware of those sections. I also really like the vertical sections, and there are times where I love it and times where I'm cursing your name.
Yeah, and what Lauren would say is he loved the chaos, right? Like,
yes.
As they were going up, you had to fight and defend, and just it was a spectacle to behold, right? Because you weren't exactly sure what was above the next level, and it was an interesting design challenge. But ultimately, it was like when you're working on a title that's on PS5 or for the next generation of hardware, being able to show numbers, being able to have something that pulls people in, hugely beneficial. And so that inspiration was the vision behind, how we got, what became hundreds, right? And then, ultimately what ended up being a compelling gameplay in those levels.
I agree. In fact, I believe that's one of the hardest parts of the game, to be honest. And I'm still not where I want to be with it. I have to continuously go back and try it again. And that's what I like about Oddworld is you have to try.
It's hard.
Not going to give it to you. We're not going to just give you, here you go. Like, you have to keep going.
Yeah.
Some people love us for that. Some people are not very happy about that. And I'm like, no, get challenged. It's totally fine.